Hi, welcome to the Radio Workshop. I'm Ray, and I want to just now talk about the announcement that the government made yesterday, Monday, about digital, the switchover, the so-called digital radio switchover. Basically, the announcement was that there is no announcement. Everyone was waiting for a date. It was going to be 2015. People have mentioned 2020. Well, basically the government can't set a switchover date, apparently because not enough people have taken up DAB radio. Anyone that's got a radio, they listen apparently to FM, to long wave and medium wave, like on our old vintage radios, long and medium wave, or the internet. Now, a lot of people apparently, I mean, I've already read all this. This isn't my, not what I'm saying, it's what I've read. Your little iPhone, you can get internet radio stations on that. Apparently there's up to something like 50,000 radio stations available on the internet. From kind of Radio Sydney to Radio Botswana, and I don't know. There's something like 50,000 radio stations available, and that's what people are listening to. But anyway, the point is what's going to happen. I know a lot of people have concerns about this, and quite rightly. You don't want to either buy a radio or one you've used for years, or you've restored it yourself, and then you tune around medium wave one day and there's nothing there. So you go to long wave, nothing. Radio 4's gone dead. And even on FM, you get your FM radio, nothing on there. Well, actually on FM, I think they're going to have local stations, like local community type stations. I'm not sure about that. The point I want to make is, all is not lost. You haven't got to throw away or just shelve your vintage valve radio. Even if this does happen one day, I suppose it's inevitable that one day it will happen. All you need to do is get a little box, little medium wave transmitter, and it comes with a little power supply you plug into the wall socket. You need a few feet of wire for an aerial, just plug that in the little aerial socket. This is all dead easy. You don't have to know anything about radio to do it, to set it up. Then you need audio, and you can get audio from anywhere. A tape recorder, an old record player if it's got an audio socket on it, MP3 player, iPod, iPad, iPhone, PC, computer, FM, DAB, wherever you want to get audio. For example, this is just one I use for testing oscillators, as you've probably seen before, little transistor radio, and on the back, headphone socket. So what you do, you tune into Radio 4 on this, on FM. This hasn't got DAB. Okay, tune into FM Radio 4, plug the lead in the headphone socket, plug the other end in a little transmitter. It's only about the size of a tobacco tin. And then, on your on your vintage valve radio, set it to medium wave, tune around, find your transmitter, and there you are. You've got whatever is tuned in on here, you can hear it on there. Probably the best thing to do is to take the audio from your iPhone, iPad, whatever, PC or wherever you want. That way, on your old valve radio, you can tune into your little local transmitter, your little box that you've bought, and you can listen to anything. Radio Sydney, whatever, China radio or whatever it is. American radio stations, they're all on the internet. There's they reckon there's 50,000 radio stations worldwide. So, excellent. And anyone, what I did actually, I'm just going to say, anyone coming into your house, they'd see the old vintage radio, your 1940s or whatever radio, the dial's lit up, there's the sound coming from the speaker. You've got nothing plugged in the back. You don't have to fit a socket, for like your audio straight into the back, MP3 or iPod in the back. You just tune into it, and if you've got more than one, you can tune them all into it. You might have, as I have there, an old transistor radio kicking about. Use it in your workshop, your garage, your shed, in the summer, in the garden. The transmitter, is powerful enough with a few feet of wire to cover your house and garden. They probably can get it next door, tell them to tune into it, run your own radio station. and it's great. So, all is not lost. In fact, a lot of people are doing that already. For example, I like listening to LBC in London. Now, they're not on DAB. I'm in Worthing on the Sussex coast of the UK. I can't get it on DAB. I've got a DAB radio now, but when I had it, wasn't there. It's not on FM. Well, it is on FM, but I'm too far away from London to hear it. It's not on medium wave anyway. So basically, I can't listen in Worthing to LBC. So what do? Well, I listen to it on the internet radio. And what I do is plug that, not all the time, but when I want to demonstrate a radio or something, I take the audio from that into my little medium wave transmitter, and on my vintage valve radio I can listen to LBC. It's great. So it really is. It's worth thinking about going along those lines. Not necessarily in the future, but now. A lot of stations you could listen to now. So, okay. Another point is that, all right, it's not going to be quite the same. You're not going to tune around to different stations on your vintage valve radio, because it's all going to be on that one frequency on your transmitter. If you want to change the station you're listening to, you've got to go and do it on your PC, your iPad, your iPod, your transistor radio, or wherever you're getting your audio from. But what I did a few years ago now, there was a local military vehicle meeting. Anyway, I got a bit involved in that, and they wanted an old radio, and they wanted to have that working, and they had a meeting. I think it was some sort of dinner they were having, and they had a meeting. Anyway, I got this old vintage valve radio, and I had a little MP3 player, only a cheap old thing. Don't know where it is now. Probably got lost. And what I did, I made up a 4 hour recording of 1940s music, some Winston Churchill speeches. I found all this on the internet. Some news bulletins, news broadcasts from the 40s about the war years, what was happening in various countries and the rest of it. And I made up this tape. I think it was 4 hours. Not a tape. Got to show my age again. Tape, goodness me. No, on a little MP3 player. Made it up on the computer, then put it on the MP3 player. And I took the old radio along to this meeting. And what I did, I had the little MP3 player going into the transmitter. Of course, people were amazed, because you could actually tune the radio, you could tune it in to this radio station. And the amount of interest that created, people were coming up and saying, how do you do it? How come you're listening to Churchill? They're looking around the back. What have you plugged into it? Is it just a loudspeaker with like a little MP3 player inside? No, it's transmitting it. And one chap, he said, could I get it on the car radio? And I said, yeah. He went outside, I went with him, and on his car radio, switched to medium wave. There it was, on medium wave. So, yeah, great fun. All I'm saying is, all is not lost. We don't have to worry about... It's going to be a shame when Radio 4 disappears from long wave, the stations disappear from medium wave. It'll happen one day, but it doesn't mean that that's the end of our vintage radios. So worry not on that front. And I think, as I've said all along, I think that this is years and years away, because people aren't going towards DAB, they're going towards internet radio, if anything, which you can get on your iPhone. Here we are, your little iPhone. I can get 50,000 radio stations worldwide on that. I think that sums it up. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.